What's up guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make homemade peach pie. This recipe calls for a 9-inch pie crust, and you can either use store-bought pie crust or you can make your pie crust at home. If you decide to make your pie crust at home, you can find a great recipe in the description. Now let's get started. We're going to start with the filling, and to make the filling you're going to need about 3 pounds of peaches, which comes to about 8 peaches. The best way to peel your peaches is to blanch them and then shock them in ice water. So fill up a medium-sized saucepan with enough water to cover the peaches and then bring it to a boil. When picking your peaches, you want to look for peaches that have wrinkles in the skin. Now this may not look that appetizing, but this is actually when the peaches are the ripest and most flavorful. Now that your water is boiling, get a large bowl, fill it with ice water, and put it next to the pan, because we're going to use this ice water to shock the peaches after blanching. So submerge your peaches in the boiling water for about 30 seconds and then move them to the ice water. Let them sit in the ice water for about 1 to 2 minutes before removing. Now you don't have to do this, you could just peel your peaches with a potato peeler, but this is way faster. Once you've blanched and shocked all of your peaches, dry them off and then it's time to start peeling. The easiest way to peel them is to cut a cross on the bottom of the peach and then use those corners as a place to start peeling. So get a paring knife and kind of just grab the skin between your thumb and the blade of the knife, and the skin should just pull right off. After peeling, we're going to cut the peaches in half and then remove the pits before slicing. To cut a peach in half, just place it on your cutting board, sink a knife down into it, down to the pit, and then rotate the peach 360 degrees. To pull the peaches apart, just twist and pull at the same time and they should come apart without any damage, and then just pop the pit out with your thumb and a small knife. After cutting the peaches in half and removing the pits, slice each peach into 1/4-inch slices and then move them to a mixing bowl. Now we're going to macerate the peaches for a little while, so you can add in a pinch of salt and a 1/2 cup of sugar and mix until the sugar is dissolved. Try to be delicate when stirring the peaches because you don't want to damage them if you can help it. After the sugar is completely dissolved, let the peaches sit for about 20 minutes, and this is going to pull out some of those juices and we're going to cook those into a syrup. So after about 20 minutes, strain the juice from the peaches into a small saucepan and reduce on medium-high heat until the juice turns into a syrup. This is going to make sure that your peach filling is nice and thick after baking, so you don't have to worry about having a watery pie. After reducing, you can just go ahead and pour the syrup into a small bowl and set aside to cool off until later. When the syrup is finished, get a medium-sized bowl and add to it 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and a pinch of cinnamon, and then whisk together until combined. After whisking, add this mixture to the peaches along with 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and then mix this together until the flour mixture is completely dissolved. After the flour mixture is dissolved, you can add in the syrup that we made earlier and then just gently mix it together one more time until the syrup is incorporated. Now that the peach filling is done, you can preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and then get ready to roll out your pie crust. So get your pie crust from the refrigerator and let it sit out for about 5 minutes to come up in temperature. After 5 minutes is up, flour your rolling surface, your dough, your rolling pin, and then start rolling out your dough. When rolling out your pie crust, it's best to roll from the center of the dough out to the end of the dough without rolling past the end. This will keep the dough from sticking to your rolling surface. You want to rotate your dough as you're rolling it out to keep it as close to a circle as possible. As far as size goes, you want to roll out your dough to about 12 inches across on all sides and about 1/8 of an inch thick. This will give you plenty of room to work with when you go to form your pie crust. After rolling, pick up your pie crust with your rolling pin and place it into a 9-inch pie plate. When setting the dough in the pie plate, lift the edges while pressing firmly into the bottom and side of the plate so you don't rip or stretch the dough and so there are no air pockets between the dough and the dish itself. Next, trim the excess dough so that there's about 1/2 inch of dough hanging over the edge of the pie plate. Save this extra dough so that if the pie crust rips at any point, you can repair it. Next, roll the edge of the pie crust under itself, tucking it into the pie plate while pinching to seal it. Next, we're going to crimp the pie. So coat your fingers in flour and then press the dough with your index finger on your dominant hand in between your thumb and finger on your other hand, and do this all the way around the pie. When working with pie crust, you want everything to be really cold. This will make crimping easier and help the pie to keep its shape while baking. After crimping, refrigerate your pie and then roll out the top dough in the same way that you did the bottom dough. For this pie, we're going to be doing a lattice top, which may sound complicated, but it's actually really easy. So once your top dough is rolled out, go ahead and cut it into 1-inch wide strips and set them to the side of your rolling surface. They don't have to be perfect, but try and get close to 1 inch if you can. Next, grab your pie from the refrigerator and pour in your peach filling. Once your filling has been added, spread it out evenly and then you can start to weave your lattice top. To weave the lattice top, start by laying 5 strips of dough down on top of the pie. Once your 5 strips are down, pull back the 2 strips to the left and right of the middle strip about halfway, and then lay down 1 vertical strip, and then put those 2 strips back over the vertical strip that we laid down. Next, pull back the other 3 strips that are laying under the first vertical strip that we laid down, put 1 more vertical strip down, and then do this same weaving pattern all over the pie until the lattice top is done. This is probably the most difficult part of the recipe, and it's really not that hard, so try not to be intimidated by this step. After your lattice top is done, go around and cut the strips so that they are just barely sitting on the edge of the pie crust. After these strips have been cut down to size, use your finger to kind of press them into the edge of the pie so that you can seal the top to the bottom. Now that the top is done, add about 2 tablespoons of butter cut into small chunks through the holes in the top of the pie. Next, brush the pie down with an egg wash or heavy cream. For this pie we decided to go with heavy cream, but if you want to use an egg wash, that's fine too. After brushing the pie down with heavy cream, sprinkle a generous amount of sugar all over the top of the pie and then bake the pie for 35 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit on the bottom rack of your oven. After 35 minutes, remove the pie from the oven and cover the rim with a tinfoil shield so that it doesn't overcook, and then bake the pie for another 40 minutes or until golden brown on the same settings as before. After baking, allow the pie to cool at room temperature before serving. This pie is best enjoyed warm with a nice scoop of vanilla ice cream right on top. And trust me when I say, this is probably one of the best tasting pies you'll ever eat. If you want to learn how to make vanilla ice cream at home, you can find a great video in the description. For more information and recipes, you can check out our website, and if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe.